Hi FlossTube, I'm Autumn the Yellow Rose Stitcher. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch. If you're new around here, occasionally there's knitting and quilting, and so there's a little bit of that today. Today's Thursday, October 16th. So I got glare on my glasses. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your stitching. Hopefully you've got nice fall weather, unlike us here in North Texas. Summer is lingering way too long for my liking. Hopefully next week or this weekend we're supposed to get a cool front and maybe some rain, fingers crossed. I'm sick of summer and ready for fall weather. Very wet, words. Ready for fall weather. I'm hoping we can get some cool down coming. So it's been a little while since my last video. My last video was about August 17th, I think is what I looked up. We've had my in-laws and my sister-in-law and my son all came in at the end of August. My sister-in-law came in for a visit, and since she was going to be here, my mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law came in, and their 10-day visit for my in-laws turned into a 3-week visit. They were here, 4 days or so, Saturday. Anyway, my mother-in-law first got sick, and she was down for a few days. Then my stepfather-in-law got sick and ended up in the hospital. Chris and I had just gotten to the grocery store. Luckily, we only had like 4 things in our cart. And Pearl called, and Alan was having trouble breathing, and told her just to hang up to call 911, and that so the ambulance got to the house before we did from the grocery store, and kept him overnight. Said he had pneumonia. There was fluid on his lungs. So anyway, they only kept him overnight. Sent him home the next afternoon, and then I think that was anyway. The Friday they were supposed to fly home. Pearl knocked on our bedroom door just after midnight, and Alan wasn't able to breathe again, having trouble. So we called 911. Or first, no, he said he thought he could, he just wanted us to take him to the ER, and he only made it down 2 or 3 steps of the stairs and had to sit down, and we had to call the ambulance. So that time they kept him in the hospital for a week because he had tested positive for COVID and pneumonia, bacterial pneumonia, and on top of that he has COPD. So it was stressful. Anyway, luckily they kept him in that time for a week, and he recovered. And then we had drama. They, I don't know if the prescribed oxygen is the right word, but he was to go home with oxygen, and the medical service company delivered, even before he was released, they delivered the oxygen, the big machine for him to sleep with here, and then 2 days later they brought a portable one with oxygen. And then luckily, through talking to the guy that made the delivery, finding out about them flying home, the airlines require you to have double the oxygen for your flight. Well, they only delivered 1 thing of oxygen. So the next day, on Thursday, they delivered the second oxygen, and you have to charge it. So Pearl plugged it in, and right at 5 o'clock, she checked it, and it hadn't charged. So we called. Of course, the company was closed. So Friday morning, we're supposed to leave the house by 10 to get them to the airport in time for their flight. I'm like, can you expedite getting oxygen here for the flight. And luckily they did. They got here like at 9:30 and it was fully charged. Got them to the airport. And as I say, that Friday morning that they flew home we were all a little stressed. So it's been eventful September, end of August, September. And I just haven't been up to making a video. Needed some time. And then, my granddaughter who started pre-K this year, my daughter had a friend that had offered to pick up her daughter from school and had been picking her up. I'd picked her up here and there on odd days, but then her friend, somebody backed into her car with an RV, so her car was in the body shop. So I spent the last 3 weeks picking up Farrah from school, and had this week, well, today's Thursday, I have to pick up Farrah again because, and will be for the foreseeable future. So, anyway, it's just been hectic, and like I said, and everything else going on in the world. I have to say, been struggling a little and not just in the mood for filming, so I feel a little off today. But anyway, sorry, I've been blathering for 6 minutes on life update. So to explain why I haven't been here, but as to say, I have been stitching, and I got into mood to do some sewing and other projects. So there's a little bit of this and that. So hopefully you'll stick around and see something that'll inspire you. We'll start off with this year I have been hosting a SAL. I have Chris put up the Primrose Quaker SAL, and I forgot which order. September, August, yeah. In August, oh, where'd it go? Hang on a second. There it is. So the Primrose Cottage Stitches, if you're not familiar, has a series of little Quaker pillows. And this is what I stitched in August. So I've been stitching one a month all year long. And so this was August's Quaker. And I stitched it with all the called for on the 28 count light ash gray Lugana and all of the color and cotton threads. And I haven't fully finished this one just yet, but this is my finished stitch, and I can't wait to get that fully finished. I love this whole series. Love it, love it, love it. So that I have the fabric for the back. I had this in my stash. The colors aren't exactly the same, but I figure it's on the back, it'll be close enough. So I plan on putting this on the back of it. And I had ordered from the Fat Quarter Shop some trim. Hang on, I've mislaid it. Oh, where'd it go? Some Lady Dot. It's not Rick Rack. It's the little, well, shoot, where did I put it? Anyway, it's a little more pink than red than, here it is, I was hoping for. And so, I mean, it would work, I guess, okay. Anyway, I was hoping to get something a little darker, so I got on to 123 Stitch yesterday and ordered a couple of more different reds. And so when those come, hopefully one of them will match a little closer to what I've got in my head, closer to this darker red, and I can get that fully finished and out on display. And so I was saying, if you're interested in what the Quakers that I've done, I'll leave in the description box below what I stitched when, if you're new here. So then September, to get ready for Halloween, I stitched the Halloween Quaker. And it is stitched with most of the Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works, although I didn't have parchment from Weeks, so I'd substituted in DMC Ecru. And then they called for it to be stitched on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha, and I stitched mine on 32 count Natural by Zweigart. That is my fully finish. I really like it on the Natural. I think it turned out really good. I like the darker. So anyway, that was my finish. That was an enjoyable. I say that every month. I've enjoyed stitching all of these, and I have a plaid for the back, homespun. Actually, it's a brushed cotton. Anyway, and on the back in black rickrack. So I've got that out downstairs on display, and yeah, that turned out cute. So, and right now, so that's my 9th finish of the Quakers. And then this month, I'm working on the Autumn Quaker. And I actually started this one back in September of 2023. And that was the year that I was started 50 new things for my 50th birthday, and I didn't get very far on it, so I didn't finish it. So I pulled it out, and it's, getting close. I should be able to knock it out this week. And I love this burnt orange. It is stitched on, they called for it to be stitched on 28 count mushroom. I'm assuming that's a Lugana, but Color and Cotton and Color and Cotton thread pumpkin, and I think Color and Cotton had a kit because I think that's who I bought it from. It's been a year, so I have forgotten, but I'm stitching it on Color and Cotton 32 count Chantilly. Really like this color linen. So, but anyway, hopefully hopefully I will have a finished pillow to show you next month. So, like I said, there's coming along. So, after that, there'll be 2 more Quakers. Christmas and the Winter Quaker will be November, December. And then, I don't know if you follow Primrose Cottage Stitches, I get their newsletter. And, like crud, they've come out with another Quaker that I'm going to have to buy. I don't know when I'm going to stitch it. But on next week, the 23rd, they're coming out with a Christmas collection. And in that is a Nativity Quaker. It is so cute. I have to say, and I've been wanting to stitch. I've been buying Nativity cross-stitch patterns. I haven't stitched any of them yet, but that's another goal. Shouldn't make goals because I have a hard time keeping them. But I want to stitch some nativity stuff, so I'm going to definitely have to buy that. I have no idea when I'm going to get it stitched, but I will be buying it. So if you haven't seen it, I say the picture's in the newsletter, and I don't know if I can copy that and put that up. But anyway, it comes out on the 23rd. So next week. So those are the Quakers and finishes. So now I'll get into just what I've been working on aside from the Quakers. Back on July 4th, I wanted to stitch something to commemorate next year being the 250th sesquicentennial. I don't know if I could say that word. Sesquicentennial. Anyway, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration, I've had this in my stash and pulled it out. Let Freedom Ring. So I'm hoping I can work on this. I was trying to make it my 25/7 piece, but I'm not good with rotations. But hopefully I can get this done by July 4th, 2026. So far, and I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count antique sampler by Victorian Motto, and it's mostly DMC, and I think there's, I don't know, half a dozen overdyes, but this is my progress so far. Really happy with the fabric and how it's coming out. So this is the end of page 1. I've gone a little further down on this border here than page 1, but so gotten a lot of the flower done up there in the corner. Really enjoying this. So trying to work on it a little bit every day. Saying the days that I've missed, and the next time I pull it out, I'll work on it more than 25 minutes, but we'll see how far I get. I've been thinking about, are y'all thinking about stitching plans for next year yet? I'm starting to think it may be a year of patriotic stitching, but so I'm saying that's all lots of threads, lots of DMC. So we'll see how that goes. And then I was thinking, when I finished the Halloween Quaker, before I picked up the Autumn Quaker, I felt like doing some other like Thanksgiving-y stitching. So I pulled out Grateful, Thankful, Blessed from With Thy Needle and Thread, if you're not familiar, and got a good bit of progress on it. I'm stitching it, I believe, on the called for fabric. Let's see. Started this October 24th of 2023. This was another one of my 50 starts, and I'm stitching it on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. And most of the called for Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colorworks, and Gast threads. Although I did change. So this is my progress. I did change the color for the letters. The thread that it called for was blending in too much to my fabric, and I didn't like that, so I switched it to I was going to say, I think it's Weeks oilcloth is what I switched it to. Yeah, it called for Gast Harvest Basket, and I've switched it to Weeks Dye Works oilcloth, and I'm much happier with how it's showing up. I'm not too keen on the stitches that disappear and blend into the fabric. So when I picked this up, I had Van stitched and the white around it on the border of this star and the letter L and the moon. So since then, I've gotten all of this done, and all of the pumpkin. I finished the pumpkin night before last and got all that. I need to go. There's 2 colors of orange in these berries, and one of them is carrot. So I've got to go. I didn't think to order that with my 1, 2, 3 stitch yesterday. Duh. Anyway, I'll have to get that to finish those berries. So I think I'll keep this out and try to stitch on this and the Autumn Quaker and see how far I can get on it this year. But enjoying the stitch on that. Yay. Oh, and there's other stitches. You can't really even see them on the picture, but there's like stars, and then these little 9 patches that float around the house. I had a star in up here, and it was in the wrong place, so I took it out. And I think I'm going to just leave them out because they don't. I can say I don't really like the stitches that just disappear and don't show up. And I don't think, because you can't even see them in the picture. So I don't think you'll miss anything in real life if I leave them off. But we'll see. So that's all of my cross stitch since August. At least. So not a ton. I say when my mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law were here, I had plans to do more. Because my mother-in-law is not one to, she's a very active person. She doesn't like sitting and watching TV or, she's on the go. But with her being sick and then Alan being sick, and then, at the end of that, I got sick. Luckily, mine was very, very mild. My problem was, I had a scratchy throat. It never got sore, and a little stuffiness that was like 2 or 3 days. But my problem was just being tired and fatigue. So anyway, but poor Pearl, she should say she got bored. We did do some yard work and stuff, which she thoroughly enjoyed. So, but anyway, that was the stitching. The other things that I've been working on, I had some leftover yarn from, I made my brother a hat with this yarn, I don't know, a few years ago, and decided I was going to try to see if I could make a pair of shorty socks with the leftover. And these are the No Fear, I don't have the No Fear shorty socks by Earth Tones Girl Designs. And that's to say, she has absolutely fantastic how-to videos on YouTube at Earth Tones Girls. So I've been using this, and the yarn is Longhorns, and by Lolo did it. And it's her, where is it? It's a sock yarn, 85 merino, 15 nylon. So I finished a sock, yay! So there's one finish. I love the micro stripe. I say when I knit my brother's hat, I find it very interesting how when you knit with yarn, it changes depending on the project and stitch count. My brother's hat was not this like micro stripe, but I love it on the sock. So one sock down, and then I've got sock number 2 started. So I've got the leg and the heel flap done. So now I need to do the heel turn and go from there. So hopefully I'll have a finished pair of socks next month. So, but yeah, and it fits really good. I tried on these socks. I haven't knit too many socks, so I'm still figuring out needle size and gauge, and I think I finally hit, because these fit really, really good. The last pair I made fit good, but they were a little loose on the foot, and so I've gone up, and these are Knitter's Pride Zing needles on the 2.5 millimeter or US size 1. Anyway, really like these needles. They're aluminum, but I'd like to get some more. I like Chalgu needles a lot too, but they're hard. They're the size, it's hard to see what size they are. And these I like because, I don't know if you can see that, it's etched in the colored, anyway, it's a lot easier to read what size you're picking up. So I'd like to get some more of these. So we'll see. But anyway, and I weighed this finished sock. I've never done it myself, but when I watch other knitters, they talk about weighing the yarn to know how much. So this was 6 grams. Is that right? 6 grams. I think his measurements aren't good. And I had the exact same amount left on the yarn, but that doesn't, I don't think that accounts for the tail starting and weaving in. So we'll see if I have enough to do the whole sock. I have a feeling I might have to, I've got a, this is the same little Lolo everyday sock yarn in cream. So one sock may have a cream toe or a little bit of a cream toe, but I don't care because I'm making these for house socks. And even if I did put them in a shoe, nobody would see them, so I'm not going to worry about it. So anyway, we'll see if this leftover yarn was enough to finish a whole sock or not. I'm getting all tangled up here. And then I've been itching to do some quilting, which I haven't done a lot of. And back in 2022, I if your fabric companies give out free block patterns every year. Moda does the Moda blockheads is what they call theirs. And then Riley Blake Designs Fabric does a block challenge. And if I had just, by following their Instagram, seen, I think that year they did theirs all in solid, didn't do anything for me. And then I saw one of their fabric designers, Heather Peterson, with Anka's Treasures, I think is her company name. She was making the block challenge in her fabrics, and that sold me, and I had to buy. So I've done the finished quilt. That's the layout that they gave at the end, but I finished block 4, and thought that turned out. Her quilt, when she did it in 22, it was the same fabric, but it was in navy, which I loved and I would have preferred, but it didn't move fast enough, and it was sold out everywhere. So I got this Shishiko fabric, I think is the name of the pattern, in the green. So, but it's coming along. I've decided it's been sitting around too long. I need to getting on these, and I've pulled fabric for the next block. Those are the fabrics for the next one. So, aren't they pretty? Bright and cheery. So, one last thing on my making. I had bought this yellow rose fabric, and I didn't read the description when I was buying it. It was on sale. It's a Moda. Did I save? Let's see it. Moda's Sunshine and Blue Skies, Rosy Dots. And one, I bought two fabrics, but accidentally on this one I bought canvas, and I thought, oh, I've had this Firefly tote pattern, and they used the waxed canvas on theirs, and I thought, well, I'll make this with the yellow rose canvas that I bought by accident. So I got that made, and the yellow, it was I'd gone to Michael's to pick up zipper and some other stuff, the leather for the handle, and rope cording. Anyway, when I was walking through Michael's, I saw this yellow. I had a different yellow picked out in my stash that was a more gold. Anyway, I liked the really bright yellow, so I bought it. And for the pocket, and so it's got 2 pockets. It's got a pocket and then the zippered pocket. And I put just a muslin on the inside, and wish I'd been able to find a blue or something for the cording, but if I ever make this again or something else, this handle leather is thick. I say, look, I mean, I did have a leather sewing needle for my machine, but my machine did not like sewing through it. Every time I'd go through, the light on the sewing machine would flicker. But anyway, that's I say it was a bit of a, took me 2 days, which partly is I had everything cut out and went to start and reread the directions and realized that I had bought the wrong interfacing. So it called for fusible midweight interfacing and woven interfacing. Anyway, I forgot which one I messed up on. So I had made some cross-stitch project bags with a fusible fleece, which she says you can use in here. So I ended up using the fusible fleece in here instead of just the stiff interfacing, which I think is fine. I say it stands up good on its own. So, and I say it's all ready for my birthday. Chris had taken me over to Juju Knits in Fort Worth, and I bought we'd been in there back in the beginning of the summer, and they have a sweater, like a spring sweater. If I can, I'll put a picture of it here. I don't know when I'm going to start this, but got the yarn for it. This beautiful lilac, and this is I do not know how to say that brand name, but it's a cotton, and is it 100% cotton yarn. So anyway, at some point I'm going to start that sweater. So, and I have it in a new project bag ready to go. I have the pattern. I need to print it out. It's on my computer. So, but yeah, so as I say, cross stitch and a little bit of this and that since my last video. All ready to go. And hopefully you're okay with this and that. I say, what else do we got? So now I'm going to go into acquisitions, which is, as usual, more than it should be. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I mentioned in my last video how I had signed up for a Fabric of the Month club from Be Stitch Me. And so I've received August's and September's. And August was, and I'm getting 32 count Lugana is what I'm getting. And this is Jack-O-Lantern, which is a really bright orange, which is great because I have a Erica Michaels cross stitch pattern. I think I've mentioned it before, and it's little jack-o'-lanterns, different faces and different sizes. So I'm definitely going to be stitching one of those on here. So yeah, that was August's fabric. So say I can show these because I'm sure if anybody's watching that is on this club, you've gotten them already. And then September was, in our fabric club you can get all brights, all neutrals, or a combo. So I signed up for the combo. So September's is Antique Market, which is kind of a pinky brown. And so this is the third fabric that I've gotten so far. And so far every fabric I've gotten, I've immediately thought of a pattern that I have that will work on the fabric. This one I have a Big Toe Designs pattern that I'd like to see if it'll work on this with the threads. I need to, but I think it will. So those were my Fabric of the Month that I received. And then I debated whether or not to talk about this because I don't want to be negative, but I was going to show stuff, and I can't show stuff without talking about. Did not have a very good experience with this company. Back in April of 2022, I wanted to start some Mirabilias too. Found fabric online, ordered it, and then in that summer was traveling, and just so happened, unplanned, unknown to me, found a needlework store near where we were traveling, went in, and it turned out to be the same. It was the storefront of the company that's Fabric Dyers out of, which, as I say, I hate to... Anyway, I took 3 years to get these fabrics. I ordered 2 fabrics online in April of 22 and then in person in June or July of 2022. And I will take part responsibility because I didn't, I only emailed this company, I don't know, half a dozen times during those 3 years. So I wasn't like persistent. So I'll take part responsibility, and the store was lovely. The staff was lovely. It was a great shop. I would highly recommend going to the store, but I would never order anything of the fabric again. So, that being said, as I say, so I don't know if I want to say who it was that I ordered it from. I had ordered this pattern, was stitched up as a store model, and I fell in love with it. I'd never seen this from Rosewood Manor before, vintage lace. And the called for fabric is it nutmeg? Let me see. Sorry, crinkling plastic. Where's the fabric? Yeah, it calls for, picture this plus lupin, sorry, which was a definite brown. And the person that dyes fabric at this place said that they had a similar color in their own fabric line, and they could dye it. So it came, and their fabric name is nutmeg, but it is, I don't know how well it's going to show up in this light. It's pretty. I love the color, but it's very purple. It is not brown at all. It's very purple. But that being said, I think the colors would still work on there. This is a purple in the background there. That might have to be changed. So, I don't know. Gonna have to, as I say, I have no plans of when to start this. But that was one thing that I had ordered, and it finally came this summer. And then I had ordered, oh, I forgot to pull the pattern. It's one of those, shoot. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, I found it. It's the 1770 Friesland Sampler by Queenstown Sampler. And it is a huge mamma jamma. And it on the pattern recommends Autumn Blush from this dyer. And it's the approximate stitch design area is 248 tall by 531 wide. So I did not get 46 count because I don't think I could stitch on that. Although I have stitched on 40 now and I do okay. But I ended up ordering 32 count. And so that is, I remember it being a little more peachy colored. But I think that'll still, sorry for the glare, I think that'll work at some point. I say I need to get some big finishes done before I even think about starting some of these big ones. The other two fabrics, like I said, that I originally bought online were for two, one Celtic Woman spring, and the other one was a Mirabilia cherry blossom, I think is. Anyway, I ended up buying other fabrics for those, which in one I'm glad because this is supposed to be Pink Whisper, and it's more gray, purpley gray than pink, as I say. So I'm not sure what this will just go in the stash. Hopefully I'll find something for it at some point. Let's say 32 count, and these are Lugana. The other two were linen. And then I ordered the colorway Rainbow Dreams, and which is, the modeling on it isn't quite that strong in real life as it's showing up on camera. And but I thought, ooh, I think I have another design that I could stitch on that I don't that I had bought, which is Mirabilia's October Opal Fairy. Those colors. So I'm going to put these two together someday, maybe a start, because I think that would work with the colors. So anyway, those were the fabrics that I ordered, and then that one Rosewood Manor pattern. And then I watch Pat Sloan on YouTube. She's a quilting channel. She's a fabric designer, pattern designer. She doesn't do as many pattern designs anymore. But anyway, she and a friend of hers, Wendy Shepherd, who is also a pattern maker, they are, I know Pat lives in Virginia. Anyway, she was promoting a pattern to buy from the Virginia Quilt Museum, and it's a fundraiser for the Quilt Museum, and showed it. It's called Silver Lake. So I went out to the Virginia Quilt Museum and ordered this pattern. I have some fabric that I've had in my stash, and I had just been looking at it because for some reason it was in the tub, my storage tub with all my interfacing when I was making that knitting bag. And I thought, oh, I need to do something with that fabric. So I'm going to use it for this. So hopefully you'll see that. I think they're going to do a quilt along. I think it starts in January. But I'm not sure. So anyway, I ordered that. And then when I went on to the Fat Quarter Shop, I'm going to try these 4 1/4 sticky circles. As to say, I have a Christmas finish that I want to do, so I bought those. Hopefully. And while I was on the Fat Quarter Shop, I'd ordered that trim that I showed you for the stitching Quaker. And then on Instagram, on Wendy Shepherd, she showed this quilt. And I have to say, I'm all in the patriotic mindset for next year, which I love. The red, white, and blue, just the color combo is my jam anyway, patriotic or not. But Wendy Shepherd had this Hear Ye pattern. I was like, oh. And then she showed it in several different colorations. And one of them, the bell was navy. Or no, sorry, the background was navy. So anyway, last year I'd bought the last Mimic and Simpson's a pattern designer. They're retired, and their last pattern fabric line came out last year. And so I had bought a big half-yard bundle of the whole line. So I'm thinking that I can use that fabric line for the bell, and I'm going to do the navy background. So thought that was cool. And speaking of the Mimic and Simpson and that fabric line, Grand Haven, is it Haven? I think that's the line. Yeah, Grand Haven. I'd bought that half-yard bundle, and I say it came out last year. And I kept thinking, I need to pick a pattern and so I know how much border fabric to get before I can't find it anywhere and it's all sold out everywhere. And this was when did this book come out? Susan Aki and yeah, it's her book. 2023, yes. So it came out last year, Summer Memories. And last year when the book came out, they did a quilt along for Summer Picnic. And, which is this quilt. So I picked out border fabric and the sashing fabric for this. And I got, so this will be the border fabric, the red. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh. So, and then for the sashing, I ordered in the this light blue. So, I'll say I need to find a way to get more done in a day. There's no reason. I'm not very efficient with my time. And I keep buying quilt fabric and not getting any of it done. So I got to find a way to break up my time and get a little done every day. But so anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I was going to show you one other thing. But yeah, as usual, there's so many things I want to make. It's just... So after I finish the Autumn Quaker, I'm going to work on the Christmas Quaker, which that's this one. And I believe I'm stitching it. Yeah. Oh, this was fabric I had. It's a 28 count even weave cream. And then the thread is Cherry Cobbler Classic Colorworks set. Let's see. Yeah, Cherry Cobbler. Oh, and the fabric is Hobby Lobby fabric. They're 28 count ivory. So anyway, I had started this in 2023 as well. Let me verify that. Anyway, let's see. I'm not finding the card for it. Anyway, doesn't matter. It shouldn't take very long because it's started, and so I just need to pick it up and get it finished. And I'll say that's the plans, that, and work on my grateful, thankful, and blessed, and the Let Freedom Ring. So those are my plans to work on over the next month. We'll see how I do. So I don't think I've forgotten anything, hopefully. And I wish you well, and God bless, and we'll see you next time. Happy stitching.